From stray coffee cups in Westeros to Bradley Cooper's fake baby, things don't always go as planned when filming a TV show or movie. There have been numerous mistakes in the past decade that slipped through the cracks and made it onto the big and small screen. Here are 18 of the biggest blunders of the 2010s. In 2019, HBO aired the final season of Game of Thrones, and while fans weren't exactly happy with how everything turned out with the rushed plot, there was also a major gaffe that managed to throw viewers completely out of the fantasy. In this scene, a coffee cup from Craft Services, no, it's technically not a Starbucks cup, was accidentally left in the final cut. It's clearly visible on the table next to Daenerys, and as far as we know, there were no baristas at Winterfell. The cup was later edited out of the shot. After the coffee cup debacle, no one would have expected yet another mistake in the final season of Game of Thrones. In one of the most important and highly anticipated scenes of the series, the leaders of Westeros were choosing who would take the throne.
I suppose this is the most important moment of our lives.
Unfortunately, someone on the cast or crew left some water bottles in a few of the shots, turning the serious moment into a bit of a joke. There's a heartwarming moment in American Sniper that quickly turns laughable. In this scene, Bradley Cooper has returned from war, and he's picking up his child, but since director Clint Eastwood thought using a real baby would be too unpredictable, they decided to use a doll instead. And it's painfully obvious, especially when Cooper is seen moving the baby's arm with his finger. The events in Season 5 of Breaking Bad are set in 2009 and 2010, but one of the characters can apparently see into the future. In this scene, Todd's uncle references the raid and death of Osama bin Laden.
Whacking bin Laden wasn't as complicated.
Which didn't actually happen until a year later, in 2011. In The Dark Knight Rises, the sun seemingly sets super early. A stock market heist scene takes place soon after the opening bell, and it's clearly light outside, but soon after there's a car chase, and when they all emerge from the tunnel, it's pitch black. Dark Knight Rises indeed. But that wasn't the only mistake in the film. Typos happen all the time, but the copy editor at the Gotham Times probably lost their job over this one. In the main headline on the front page, heist is spelled wrong. In this scene, Rachel McAdams' character is writing down notes from her conversation with one of the abuse victims at a diner. The camera cuts to the notebook several times, and while she seems to fill up the page, a few shots later it's nearly blank. Maybe it's disappearing ink? During the final battle scene in the Avengers, there's a lot going on, so it's not that surprising that there would be a few continuity errors here. In this scene, the front of a car is clearly dented and beaten up, but after Thor lands on the ground, the car has miraculously turned to perfect condition. A blessing from the gods. There's another continuity error in the final battle. Here we see Captain America is shot in the stomach, and his suit is torn and damaged. A few minutes later, however, it's back to normal. Guess Captain America is also a pretty good seamstress. Elsa belting out Let It Go is one of the more memorable scenes in Frozen. But no matter how many times you've watched it, you may not have noticed this one pretty bizarre error. In this scene, after she lets down her hair, she swings around and her braid appears to magically pass right through her arm. Suicide Squad wasn't exactly flawless, but there was one scene in the film that makes absolutely no sense. In this scene, the characters are all putting on their costumes. But Harley Quinn's transformation is a bit more drastic than the others. Somehow, she manages to get a haircut and dye her hair, seconds after she puts on her outfit.
Seriously, the hell's wrong with you people?
While technically not in the show, this promotional image for Downton Abbey made headlines for something fans spotted in the background. Can you find it? Yes, like Game of Thrones, there's a plastic water bottle in the shot, sitting right there on the mantle. You may have been too teary-eyed at the sight of all the Avengers assembling to notice this one. In this scene, we clearly see Thanos destroy Captain America's shield. It's cracked in half. But soon after, when the camera pans out at the portal's opening, the shield is back to its original state. If only we could snap our fingers and do the same for Iron Man. Henry Cavill is known as Superman, but he appears to also have superpowers in his role as Agent August Walker in Mission Impossible Fallout. In this scene, Cavill's beard quickly grows while he's punching. As if that wasn't bad enough, a pocket also appears on his dress shirt. In the world of The Walking Dead, physics apparently don't apply. In Season 5, Daryl and Carol are trapped in a van that's teetering on the edge of an overpass. Eventually, the van falls and flips forward. But somehow, it lands on its wheels seconds later. Before the coffee cup and water bottle, there was another error in Game of Thrones that had people scratching their heads. In Season 6, we learned Melisandre turns into an old woman when she takes off her necklace. But in Season 4, there's a scene with her in a bathtub, sans necklace, and yet she's still young and beautiful. While Demogorgons and strange young girls with telekinesis aren't very realistic, there's one mistake the production team on Stranger Things made with the props. Throughout Season 1, the kids are using realistic TRC-214 walkie-talkies to communicate with each other. The only problem is that these didn't actually exist until about 2 years later, in 1985. While there's certainly a lot of time hopping in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, one jump in Spider-Man Homecoming seemed to mess everything up. The movie's supposed to be set 8 years after The Avengers, which was set in 2012. Hence, Homecoming takes place in 2020. But that doesn't line up with the rest of the films, like Avengers Infinity War, which was set in 2018. So the entire timeline would get shifted, making the dates the heroes jump back to in Endgame incorrect. Director Joe Russo eventually admitted that this 8 years later title card was incorrect during a press interview. Were there any other big mistakes you noticed in the past decade? Let us know in the comments.